Today is going to be a day of firsts on the Extreme channel. First, we're going to look at a first ever pure arts piece. Second, for the first time ever, we're looking at a piece from Assassin's Creed. And third, I'm not only not wearing pants, but... Hey people, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. Today we're looking at another Extreme collectible. This piece right here is by Pure Arts. It is a 1/4 scale Animus Bayek statue. Bayek? Bayek? How do you say that? The reason why I don't know a lot about this piece is I've never played Assassin's Creed. And today I want to settle an argument that comes up from time to time. So sometimes a lot of people ask, or sometimes a lot of people stipulate and make conspiracy theories that I'm in bed with other people, which please stop doing that. Mrs. X doesn't like to hear that. Mr. X buys so much, a lot of the stuff he gets for free or he gets discounted to maybe promote that piece. Well, today I'm going to let you know I did get this piece for free, but I'm not keeping it. What's going on with that, Mr. X? From time to time, a few different distributors will send me pieces to review for free. Damn, that's a good deal. I don't keep the pieces, I send it right back to the distributor, and this is the case with this piece. I still review it with my unbiased opinion, and like I said, people will send me screenshots of conspiracy theories that maybe I get a statue for free to promote it, which does happen with statue YouTube channels. It's not necessarily a good or bad thing. In my opinion, I just don't do it. I've had plenty of offers. And again, for the conspiracy theorists out there, I want to say, why should I make hundreds of thousands of dollars when I can make hundreds? So this particular item was sent to me by my very good friend at Spec Fiction, Todd Johnson. This is actually a sample kit he got from Pure Arts, and instead of having it shipped directly to him from China, he had it shipped to me, and he asked if I could review it. So I will have a link to purchase this from Spec Fiction. It's not an affiliate link. I don't get anything out of it. All I get out of it is I get to review this awesome statue. And in the future, if I ever get something free or discounted, I have nothing to hide. I will let you know that. There have been a few pieces, like I said, in the past that are just like this, where I actually get the statue and a return label where I'll review it and send it off. And typically you can tell because I'll say the reason why I bought him, and if I don't say that, it's because I didn't buy him. I think it's like the third of the hundreds that have hit the review table, so it's not that many. But let's officially jump into this review of this Animus Bayek. And before we do, we are actually doing a statue giveaway. Check it out. We are going to hit 20,000 subscribers in 2020. To do that, we're giving away a statue every 2,500 subs. At 15,000 subs, the winner will get to choose between these two PCS Mortal Kombat statues. Make sure that you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Then stay tuned towards the end of this video to find out how to enter. I've never played Assassin's Creed, but I was actually eyeing this line of statues from Pure Arts. They have two other pieces that I really wanted. First is this Altair statue. I actually got this on a wait list, and then it converted, then it was delayed, so I canceled it. And then this Ezio, I believe how it's pronounced. I actually saw this one live at New York. It got delayed, so I canceled it to get my NRD back. While I don't know a ton of the background information, I do know that Bayek is one of the main characters, if not the main character. There's a ton of different games. I believe this is like from the 10th one. And they are assassins in ancient Egyptian times, and there's, at least in this particular representation, and there's a magic element to it as well as a fighting element. I don't know a ton of the storyline, and I actually went to look it up for you guys, and this is what I found. So I want to know more about the character, so I went up and looked up Bayek just on this fandom page, and I started reading the background information, his powers, his storyline, and after reading about 30 paragraphs, I realized I'm not even 1% of the way through his storyline. So if you're really interested in it, you can see the URL in the top, but all of this, it just goes on and on and on. Pretty elaborate, obviously. However, one thing I do know about is statue reviews, so let's jump into the review of this guy, starting with the concept of this piece. Now, because I have limited knowledge of the source material, my judgments may be wrong, but hey, all of these reviews are my opinions anyway. So let's look at the base of this guy and then move up. Incredible base on this guy. So first, he's standing on a very ancient Egyptian type eagle made out of stone that's carved into the building. You don't know if this is on the ground or he's on the top of a building. It looks fantastic. There's some stone and some really Egyptian, goldish, almost, Tutankhamun, almost like some King Tut things. And as you move up on him, he is standing there in a very museum pose. He's walking like he just killed an enemy. He has tons of different weapons and armor. He has his robes flowing in the wind, very Egyptian-like from that time. The back of it, we'll look at close-ups later. There's these ancient Egyptian artifacts There's this ancient Egyptian writing written into it. And then this is called the Animus Effect. I do know that. That also has the hieroglyphics all over it. He has a sword wielded in one hand. In his left hand, he has a shield. And like I said, he's just walking like he's about to kill somebody, or he just did kill somebody. And that's very apparent by the solemn look on his face. While I don't know this character personally, he looks extremely badass, extremely, I wouldn't say scary, but I wouldn't mess with him. And I love what they've done with the Animus Effect, and you're going to see some cool light-up features as well. And then just to add to it, they've got this awesome eagle on the back. I believe this is an eagle. It looks fantastic. It's taking off in flight. I don't know if this is his pet in the game. It's following him. Really, really looks cool. And the light-up feature we're going to look at during design makes this look even better. So I think the concept is very cool. I can definitely tell it ties back to the heritage, so it does match the source content, some to my knowledge. This character looks awesome. He looks very badass, especially, like I said, for being one of the main characters, if not the main character. And I believe on some of the research I did, he's the narrator in some of these. I don't know if it's this specific game. I like how they tied in, some of the Egyptian heritage, some futuristic or magical stuff as well. So I think the concept, even though I don't know the source material, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Very cool. Even when you don't know the source material, it's just impressive. Now we'll talk about design. I think there's some pros and cons. Let's start with the unboxing. I thought I had some pictures of the box, but I've already shipped it back actually to Spec Fiction. So this was the top of the art box right here. And then there were 2 layers inside. It was packed delicately because the Animus Effect especially, and there was some broken pieces that we are going to look at. So let us assemble this guy. It was fairly easy assembly. There was a battery compartment both on the bottom base, as you can see right there. It took 3 AAA batteries, which did not come with the piece. And then the back half also had a battery compartment, which as I'm reviewing this and editing it, it actually lights up with no batteries in the back, so I'm not sure what the back battery compartment is for at this time. Maybe it was something I missed. And here are the broken pieces, which we'll look at more with. Now Bayek had a key on one foot and a peg on the other. So it took me a minute to slide it in.
Hey, that's what she said.
Now with the Animus Effect, there were colored dots, both on the effect and the base itself. So it was fairly easy to see which goes in which, unless you're kind of colorblind, which I am a little bit. Also, you had to figure out the directionality of each piece. But pretty simple installation. His quiver on the back and then his bow both go in via key. His right arm with the sword is covered up, the seam line's covered up with a strap, and then the eagle was packed very, very well, so I imagine they were worried about breakages. Now, being a 1/4 scale piece, meaning it's been shrunken down 4 times in the real-life version, it does take up a lot of space, but you have a ton going on here. So let's get the dimensions really quick. I think the widest point is a little over 12 inches. The highest point with the eagle is about 28 inches. Without, you're looking at 23, just under. So you can remove the eagle. There will be a little keyhole though. The depth on this piece is right under 15 inches. Now keep in mind on the width, his sword and this Animus Effect probably make it go out a little bit farther. On this, let me show you the light up feature. So there's 2 buttons that are kind of hidden in the rocks. So I like that. It's a cool feature. I think one thing that would have been neater if they somehow managed to fuse it into his body and the Animus effects on his sword and his arm lit up. So I think that was a missed opportunity. One of the other things I don't like is, see here in the pictures, while it is on the back, it does make it look a little bit corny, a little bit more like a toy. So it would have been nice if they could hide those into the bottom, at least the battery cases for sure. Also, as you saw in the video, some of these broke off in shipping, and I don't even know where they go. I'm really sorry, Todd. Actually, I'm not. It's not my fault. I opened them like that. So I think there's definitely some shipping hazard on this because of the Animus effect. Also, it does come with the COA. I didn't actually open it. but here's a picture right here. I'm not a big fan of little display signs or COAs with pieces. I know some people are. But otherwise, magnet's very strong. Everything fit together really well. So I think there's some pros and cons, which lands this a 3 out of 5 because it is an elaborate project. Now, before we dive into paint and sculpt, as a reminder from the assembly, you will see some colored stickers, some round colored stickers by the Animus Effects. I left those on there because this isn't my statue, but it shows how you can assemble it, so those stickers are not normally supposed to be there. But let's take a look at the rest. The base, I think, is honestly the weakest part, but the weak parts of the base are more along the areas you can't see. But let's start at the front here where you can see. As I said, it's kind of a hieroglyphic or pyramidal bird that you have on front, one of the Egyptian gods. I like how it's mixed in some of the futuristic Animus stuff as well as kind of that old stone, old gold. The fading is decent. This looks okay. The top of it, what I really like is you start to see some of those really futuristic hieroglyphic Animus stuff mixed together. You also see that on the back right here. And I love the smooth surface on this. This front of the back piece I think looks fantastic. It's the best part of the base. And here's that light up button. That makes it look even cooler. But it still has its own merits without that. Where I think the base isn't very good is in the area you really can't see if you display it against a wall, which most people do. So that you have a decent seam line we didn't really talk about during design, but it doesn't bother me. There's those battery cases. But here, it seems the sculpt was a little bit lazy. But granted, it's the back of the piece, so one could make a big argument it didn't need to be very fancy. They threw some dirt colors in there to mix it up. The bottom looks a little bit better right here. But like I said, up here, I just like that transition to where it looks like a mix of old concrete, pyramidal stuff, and then you have the cool Animus light up feature going on with that. And speaking of the Animus feature right here, so I have part of it lit up, part of it not, to kind of show you the difference. This looks cool. It has that Egyptian writing, the hieroglyphics on it. The light up feature definitely does take it to the next level, but it still looks okay without it. And you can't even tell where the broken parts were from. I still haven't figured it out. I think the coloring is good. It's kind of this piss yellow, but it doesn't look bad. Piss dark yellow, so you haven't had any water for a while. And what I like is how it's kind of transitioning or phasing through Bayek himself. You see some coming out of his feet, his arm up here. So it really shows that magical property is from him. His sword kind of phasing in and out, and maybe someone watching this can comment below a little bit more of the meaning of this. But looking at him, so let's look at his sandals here. Look fantastic. Everything here is fully sculpted other than his bow and necklace, which we're going to look at. Great job on his sandals. You can see his skin. He has this really dark skin color, which out in the Egyptian sun, that makes sense. So I think they match that. A lot of texture on his clothing. A lot of folds, and then these ropes wrapped around his pants look fantastic. Same thing, you see it on his sandals. And then all of these robes and cloths up here, this is really the star of the show of him. So the paint, the detail, this ornate design, and then mixed in with his belt, I guess, yeah, all that is fully sculpted. I had to touch it to figure it out. Fully sculpted, these leather straps. This pouch looks fantastic with the little rivets on it and the buckle strap. And then the mix of colors is awesome as well. I think it really makes this piece pop, especially with the background. And here where you see the Animus coming out of him, almost looks like he's phasing in and out of reality. Very cool. Then the gauntlets he has on his hands, like right here, it looks like there's a weapon blade that comes out. Holding the shield. Some cool designs on there as well. Then his shoulder pads. I don't know if this is supposed to be like an animal skin underneath it, that yellow flowing hair, but it looks cool. Then the leather on top and more Egyptian symbols. Here you see the string on his bow, which is mixed media, obviously. And then the necklace right here looks a little blurry. It looks blurry, but it looks a little fake. I think they could have gone without that. Some close-ups of the sword. Sword is a little plasticky. but I don't think you'd want to make a metal sword that long. It would weigh the statue down too much. He almost has these tattoos right here, which I'm not sure the meaning of them. Again, maybe someone can comment below. A little bit of a scar. Here you see his quiver for his arrows. The arrows look fantastic. And then his hood. His hood is awesome as well. So it's kind of this faded cloth that's been stitched together and sewn. Does look more like mixed media. So when I say mixed media, I mean fabric. Some great texture on there. The coloring, the fading, the black shadowing looks cool. And then let's look at his portrait. He is badass. Serious, stoic expression. A little bit of a scar right there. Skin color matches well. His lips pursed together. His eyes, looks like he almost has orange eyes. Kind of a cool gaze. And I think the orange eyes go along well with the clothing and the Animus Effect. And lastly, let's check out the bird. Looks fantastic. Really good job on the bird. It's hard to sculpt feathers or fur and make it look good, but they did a fantastic job here. The talons look awesome. I like the coloring they used. And again, I don't know if this is a companion to him in the game or just something they added on the statue, but either way, awesome addition. Having trouble getting it to focus today. So a lot of cool stuff going on with paint and sculpt. So a lot of really cool things on this. I am impressed as my first piece from Pure Arts. Paint on this piece, some of it, like I said, I think is amazing, especially on his clothing. And I like that they match the skin to what I would do. Even the eagle looks fantastic. Parts of the base are a little meh on the paint, but I think if I look at it overall, the paint is a 4 out of 5 on this piece. Very well done, especially with some of those ornate, tiny designs. And the sculpt kind of finds in that same category. I think the base, the back right here that we looked at is very cool. A little bit of this stuff is left to be wanted. I think the Animus Effect is a decent job for what it is. And Bayek himself is fantastic. So I think it's a 4 out of 5 on the sculpt. Talking about value, obviously he's still available. Again, there's a link to buy it from Spec Fiction for the retail price of $688. They made 1,500 of these. And because I'm not big into the video game community, I don't know how popular Assassin's Creed is. But they've made a whole bunch of different games, so that definitely says there is a lot of popularity to it. And I don't know how popular this character is, so that limits a little bit of my ability to rank the value. But this is, I can say, this is a 1/4 scale piece with a lot going on. A huge base with tons of cool things. The eagle adds to it. Tons of stuff going on Bayek right here. The paint and sculpt are really good. $688 is about the average price for a 1/4 scale piece. So I think the value is really good. I think it's a 4 out of 5 on this piece. Where does the X factor fall? Now, this is the really dangerous part of Todd sending me stuff like this. I was planning to get this line, as I said, and I ended up canceling it due to delays to save some money and space. And I do have space for this line at my office. I think he'd look really good next to some Witcher stuff and some other medieval stuff. Well, I don't think this is a 5 out of 5 statue. Because of everything going on, with or without the light up feature, I would definitely turn my head when I walked by it to take a look. And a lot of people will probably appreciate it even more if they know the video game or they have ties to ancient Egypt or that's a hobby of theirs. So I think it's a 4 out of 5 statue. And I'm not just saying that because Todd sent it for me to review. I'm actually pretty pissed at him right now because now I want to pick it up. Thankfully, this one's not for resale, so I can't even keep it. I want to warn you guys, one comment, while I appreciate it, is whenever I review a video game piece I don't know much about, people tell me to start playing the video games. I don't play video games anymore. 2 reasons. One, I simply couldn't get my kids off the consoles to let me play, and time is already short for me with all the different hobbies going on. So don't put it in the comments that I should play Assassin's Creed, because I'm sure it's fantastic. But really appreciate you guys watching. Throw some comments down below to help you win that statue, because this is how you can win it. Big thank you to you guys watching. Big thank you to Todd over at Spec Fiction as well. Go check them out. See the link below if you want to buy this piece. Also, that's where I buy a ton of my XM Studios and all my Queen Studios pieces. He's just a good businessman, a good friend of mine, and I help out friends. So check out the Mr. X logo as well. If you want to see more stuff like this, you can subscribe to the channel or these other statue pieces in the playlist. Take care.